Hello students, I am Ravi Sudhakar. I did my MTech from IIT Delhi. I have been working with Ask IITians for the past 3.5 years. The topic we will be discussing today is trigonometric equations and their solutions, which comes for around 6 to 8% in JEE mains as well as in advanced, and in CBSE it comes for around 11 to 13%. So we will be covering a major portion of your syllabus. I will be giving the topics: general solution, unit circle, principal solution. We'll be discussing the type of questions that can be framed, and then we'll be having some competitive level questions. So I'll be starting the part 1, which will be involving trigonometric equations, its introduction, the types of solution we'll be having over that, and the unit circle, which is a major component of that. So let's start with it. There's a flat surface on which you are flying a kite. You know the length of the strand with which you are flying the kite and the height at which the kite is flying. You want to know the angle at which you are flying the kite with respect to the ground. So how can I find that? I know the two heights or the two lengths, that is the vertical height of the kite as well as the distance or the length of the strand of the kite. So I know the two sides of the triangle, right angle triangle. So I can find the angle at which the kite is flying. So using this science or this maths, this branch of maths is called trigonometry, that deals with the measurement of the element of triangles. That are three angles and the three sides. And when such trigonometric ratios of the unknown angles are found in an equation, those equations are called trigonometric equations. And the solution to those equations are called solution to trigonometric equations. So the definition of a trigonometric equation is the equations involving one or more trigonometric ratios of the unknown angle. Mind that it's an unknown angle and one or more trigonometric ratios. That is, it's not like just sine theta is equal to A would be the trigonometric equation. Many such trigonometric ratios can be involved in the same equation. So an equation involving the one or more trigonometric ratios of unknown angle is called trigonometric equation. I'll take up an example now. Cos square x minus sin x minus 4 sin x is equal to 1. Now cos square x, it has two trigonometric ratios, one is cos and another one sin. The same trigonometric angle, that is the unknown angle, is used for both the trigonometric ratios, and the whole equation is equated to something. So this is an example for trigonometric equation. Various trigonometric ratios are involved of the same unknown angle, and it is in equivalence with something. Next example I can take is sec square x minus tan square x is equal to 1. Now sec square x minus tan square x is equal to 1, you must have already heard this. It's a basic trigonometric identity. Now what's an identity? That identity means it is valid for any value of x. So it does not matter what value of x you put in, this equation would be satisfied for all values of the unknown angle. Now solution to the trigonometric equations, that is, we just discussed an example that you were supposed to find the angle with which you are flying the kite with respect to the horizontal, and you found out using the two sides. So the value of an unknown angle which satisfies the given equation in the solution of equation, that needs to satisfy the given equation. For example, if I have sin theta is equal to half, that's a basic example. Now sin theta is equal to half, we all know that theta is equal to pi by 6. So that's a basic value. I'm not saying that this is just one value or the only value that will satisfy the equation. I'm saying that it is one of the values. So since trigonometric functions are periodic functions, solutions of trigonometric equations can be generalized with the help of periodicity. Mind that the word periodicity here is important. Every 2 pi or every rotation would have the same value, and hence the same value for the trigonometric ratio of the particular unknown angle. So the value would be repeating at least once in the rotation. I said at least once in the rotation. You'll get to know, because it can be twice or maybe thrice or 4 times, not thrice, so maybe 4 times in one rotation. So trigonometric ratios functions can have equations can have the solutions including periodicity, and all such solutions can be put down into one set, and that set would be called general solution. Now I cannot have all the values put into one set, but as I know that they are periodic values, so I can generalize them. Using the periodicity, I can generalize the values, so the solution consisting of all possible solutions is called general solution. Now about the periodicity, there is a very important topic, unit circle. That's basic but very important for the basics of trigonometry to be learnt. This is the x-axis, y-axis. These two lines are dividing the xy plane into 4 quadrants, first, second, third and fourth. So this is a unit circle, radius 1, unit and center at origin. Only 2 rules need to be kept in mind while plotting the angle on the unit circle. First is, when moving anti-clockwise, the angle is positive, and when clockwise, the angle is termed as negative. That's a convention we follow. So suppose I need to find out the value of sin theta, cos theta in first quadrant, or tan theta. So I have 6 trigonometric ratios and all of them are positive in the first quadrant. In the second, only sine is positive and its reciprocal cosec. In third goes for tan and cot, reciprocal of tan, and in the fourth, that gives me cos and reciprocal of cos sec. We'll just come to how we define these and why is it so that they are positive in each of the quadrants, and in the first quadrant all of them are positive. So the measure at this angle, this degree is 0, then at the vertical it's pi by 2, pi and 3 pi by 2, and again when coming to 0, the next angle would be 2 pi, and this would be like one complete rotation. So if all are positive, and how I can remember this? This can be termed as A, sine for S, tan for T, and C, cos for C. So all students to class, if I write them as first, second, third and fourth, these being quadrants, I can have all students to class. So these are positive in these corresponding quadrants. Now what does positive and negative mean? Let's say I have sine of 3 pi by 2 minus theta. Then if I'll have 3 pi by 2 is this, so I'll move in anti-clockwise direction, 3 pi by 2 positive, and then minus theta, so that will be clockwise positive, clockwise negative, and here the angle would lie. Now here it's negative, and the rule says, I'll jot down the rules for you, that if I have the angle of the form odd multiples of pi by 2 plus minus theta, then I would have, let's say this is alpha, because I already defined for theta, this being equal to sine theta. So odd multiples of pi by 2 plus minus alpha, then there would be a transformation in the trigonometric ratio, that is sine to cos and vice versa, tan to cot and vice versa, and sec to cosec and vice versa. So this was about trigonometric ratios. The angle would be just alpha in all the 3 cases. If I talk in terms of the sign, whether it's positive or negative, that will depend upon quadrant. That's why I have mentioned in which quadrant, which angles, which trigonometric ratios are positive. Another rule that I have, if angle is of the form multiples of pi plus minus alpha, no trigonometric ratio changed, In terms of angle, it will be just alpha in all the three cases, and sine again would have to be decided by the quadrants. I'll give you an example. I was working on sine of 3 pi by 2 minus theta. Now 3 pi by 2, this is an odd multiple of pi by 2. So I will have first rule implied, that will give me sine would be changed to cos, and pi by the angle would be theta, and the sign that I will have is in the third quadrant 3 pi by 2 minus theta would be lying in the third quadrant itself here. So 3 pi by 2 in third quadrant, and in third quadrant sine is positive. I will not look on the right hand side what the transformation has been, but on the left hand side what the original trigonometric ratio was, that is sine, and it's negative in third quadrant, so I will have a negative sign over here. So that will give me minus cos of theta. Let's have a generalized table that I have for these rules, that if I have the 6 trigonometric ratios here and the angles pertaining to them are being equated to minus theta, 90 minus theta, that is sine of 90 minus theta, when alpha is replaced with 90 minus theta, I would have cos theta. So I'll just write down in which quadrants which angles would lie, that is negative of theta, that will lie in the fourth quadrant, that is clockwise degrees towards the fourth quadrant from the origin. 90 minus theta is first quadrant, 90 plus theta second quadrant, 180 is again second quadrant, 180 plus theta is third quadrant, 360 minus theta is fourth quadrant again, and 360 plus theta is the first quadrant. So if I have a look at the angles, then sine of minus theta and sine of 360 minus theta, if I look at these two equations, these two rows, these two would be same, as the phase is just a difference of 2 pi or 360 degrees. So sine of minus theta is sine theta. In the fourth quadrant cos is positive, so cos of minus theta is cos theta. Tan of minus theta is minus tan theta minus cot theta. Sec theta again positive because it's in the fourth quadrant, and in fourth quadrant cos and sec are positive. If I have a look at the first quadrant, all of them should be positive, and hence they are positive. Just that it's an odd multiple of pi by 2 in the angle, so the ratios would change to sine cos, tan cot, and sec cosec. So sine of 90 minus theta would be cos theta, cos of 90 minus theta is sine theta, tan of 90 minus theta is cot theta, cot of 90 minus theta is again tan theta, sec of 90 minus theta is cosec, and cosec 90 minus theta is sec theta. So far so good. Then second quadrant, multiple of pi by 2, trigonometric ratios are changed, sine is changed to cos, cos to sine, and in the second quadrant sine is only positive, that is sine of 90 plus theta would be cos. There is a change in the transformation in the trigonometric ratio, the angle has been theta, and the sign that is in front is positive because sine, it's the root trigonometric ratio, that is sine, and that is positive in the second quadrant, hence sine would remain positive, and I would get cos theta is equal sine 90 plus theta is equal to cos theta. Then cos of 90 plus theta would be minus sine theta. There is a sign change, there is a trigonometric ratio change, and so on. And in the case of 180 minus theta, that is termed as pi minus theta, so it's a multiple of pi plus minus theta. So if I have there would be no change in the trigonometric ratio, and I would get the ratio as sine of 180 minus theta is sine theta because it's positive already in the second quadrant. Cos of 180 minus theta is minus cos theta, so no trigonometric ratio change but a sign change in the third quadrant, and so on. In the second quadrant there will be in the third quadrant I will have 180 plus theta as tan would be positive and cot would be positive. There would be no trigonometric ratio change, just a sign change would be there for all rest of the 4. Now for the last one, that is the first quadrant, all are again positive. Now just for fun, I have a slide, that is 153 is an Armstrong number. What's an Armstrong number? The numbers which can be written in this form, such that the sum of the cubes of the 3 numbers is itself defining the number. So write down for yourself the numbers are rest of the numbers and find any more Armstrong numbers if you have. So in this part we discussed that introduction to trigonometric equations, the types of solutions that one contains, and the unit circle, which was a majority part of this video. We'll be studying in the next part the general solution and some formulae based on it. So stay tuned.